Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to Catacomb Kids. Fuck, Cavern Kings, there we go. Words. Words are sometimes hard. Words just sometimes do not want to be my friend. Who should I play as? You know what, let's play as Thorax. I don't play as him very often. I used to, and then I kind of stopped. I wonder why. Don't know why. Yay, Cavern Kings. Do I want a kick beam cannon? No, you know what, let's go nail gun. I don't think I've really nail gun that much. Let's go King Thorax, because it matches his color set. I don't like the bucket, because it goes in front of the character sprite, and it looks kind of doofy. Okay, but I haven't nail gunned that much since the patch. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense. Kick beam cannon is way cooler, but still. I wanted to point this out, by the way. My records are bullshit. Look at them. Depth. Castle. Cash? Yeah. Level 50 kills, like 151,000? I think that's wrong and broken and stuff like that. Oh, that reminds me. Hey, Hoodie Panda. How are you supposed to sleep after seeing that Fallout stuff? I mean, you don't. You just start playing through Fallout 3 and then Fallout New Vegas, and then you get the shivers, and you got to go back for Fallout 1 and 2 and Tactics, and you know that shitty set of... Actually, I don't know if there are any other Fallout, like, knockoff games. There are a couple of, like, pseudo-Fallout games here and there. But still. No, I have not actually seen the Fallout footage yet. I really should. I actually did not realize that E3 started today. Sort of. I'm not sure how I'm going to be handling that. Because, on one hand, I've got to think of, like, how I want to do it. You know what I'm probably going to do tomorrow? This video is probably going to come out a little bit late, so I'm just going to say this now. Whether or not people are, like, actually interested in hanging out for this, I'm going to be probably hanging out in chat, like the Twitch chat, watching the E3 footage while I do work, because I've got all sorts of artwork to work on, as well as some other stuff, and I think it would actually be kind of neat to just hang out and actually have people to talk to if people want to, like, hang out and talk about E3 footage being shown. That's it. It's not a big deal. Not mandatory. Yada yada yada. I'm not 100% certain when I'm going to be waking up as well, so that's going to be a bit of a limiting factor. Okay, so, Cavern Kings. Another thing I actually have to say, kind of in relation to this game, the last couple episodes got screwed up in my head. Oh, shit, there goes that. So I actually released episode... the episode from the 11th, late, but only the second part, in conjunction with the 12th and the first part, so that got a little bit screwed up, stuff like that. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself, but this weekend has been a mess. I guess all of last week has been a bit of a mess, and that's a pretty garbage shop. I'll pick up one of the eyes just because it's kind of useful, but that's the extent of that. Okay. Oh, wow. Hoodie's got the shingles? How do you get the shingles? Hoodie, aren't you like 20? 20-something? Damn, I didn't know you could get the shingles that young. Ouch. You know, I'm a little bit afraid of that. Can you only get the shingles if you've never had chickenpox? I want to say that's how it works, but I could be wrong. Or is it... No, I have not a clue. Okay. But yeah, no, that was dumb of me. Weekend's been a mess, and it's just been downright just kind of hectic? Okay, so I do artwork sort of for a living, sort of not for a living, I don't know. It's kind of like weird limbo. But every once in a while I get commissions, and I really need to do more of them. Problem is, for doing commissions, I have to finish them. You gotta have a deadline, otherwise, you know, there's no way to actually finish the thing on time. So the commission I'm currently working on didn't have a deadline, and I procrastinated on it for quite a long time because, you know, I've been hella busy. Unfortunately, you know, finally hit the deadline, so it's just like, alright, let's get this done. And then my neighbors called, and they're like, yeah, so we really need your help fixing our pool. And I'm like, alright, fine, when? And they're like, well, we're only in town for, like, this weekend, and then we're gone, and then we can't work on it anymore. So we need you to come in, like, tomorrow. It's like, okay, fine, I'll have time. I'll have time afterwards, you know, no problem. And then after that, my parents are like, oh yeah, by the way, we expect you at your brother's girlfriend's sister's graduation party for, like, the entire afternoon after you're done working, so come over once you're done with that. And it's like, oh, okay, fine, I guess I'll work on the commission, like, later. And then Saturday happens, and at that point, like, I'm already tired, like, super tired from working, because, let's be honest here, manual labor for, like, 3-4 hours straight, not exactly conducive to wanting to do more work of any kind. But, so, let's see if I can blow this up. So, unfortunately, it's kind of one of those where it's like, suddenly, all of my time's gone, and then it's Saturday, and probably should have ended Saturday earlier, but it's just like, after a long weekend, it's just like, no, I wanna play, I wanna have fun, I don't wanna deal with, you know, thinking about work for a little while and stuff like that. And then I woke up today, and I was just like, oh god, this is why I didn't want to wake up. Because, unfortunately, what I effectively am doing is just hauling pond scum out of somebody's pool that they haven't opened up for years. Folks, open up your pools or get rid of your pools, because those things get gross if you don't maintain them. And so, yeah, hauling, like, hundreds of pounds of pond scum out of a pool is kind of nightmarish. Comparatively, it is not easy to do. It's not very comfortable. And so, like, by the end of it, like, my arms are still tired, and I can feel it in my neck from just the twisting and the shifting and the, like, part of the problem is, like, you can't get into the pool, so you have to haul it up from above. So you end up doing, like, a lot of bending and twisting that you really shouldn't be doing. But, you know, most people aren't going to have to deal with this because most people maintain their pools. But, you know, my neighbors are 60, 70 at this point, and obviously can't open up their own pool and then don't want to pay anybody, so it's just like, alright, let's just leave our pool like this up until, like, an emergency happens, at which point we need to open it up because they're selling their house, which is the emergency, and then vacation, so it's just like, blah. Luckily, and, like, the one kind of sweet deal of all of this is, like, I do get paid decently for stuff. Did I work today? No, I sort of got lucky on that one. Okay, so my neighbor's brilliant plan for clearing out this pool, by the way, was... Oh, hey Minecraft Elf, how's it going? My neighbor's brilliant plan for clearing out his pool was to drain the entire thing. Quite honestly, if you're going to drain your pool, there are better ways of doing it, and generally you want to hire a professional, but he just stuck in his own pumps and is currently... that thing is going to hurt. Lots of hurt. Okay. But, so he's pumping it out, which isn't necessarily a problem, but he was like, alright, so come back in like 6 hours, the pool's going to be empty, and I'm like, I'm not sure you understand just how much water is in your pool. I don't even know where he's putting it all. He's probably just draining it effectively into his neighbor's yard, because that's where it's going to go, and the only place to go is downhill, and there's a neighbor's yard downhill. I don't know. Oh, man, there goes the money. Oh, well. Not the end of the world. Okay, so he's draining the pool, and he's like, yeah, just come back in a couple hours, and we'll continue with this. And it's like, do you get volume at all? Okay, you know, I'll come back, sure. And, like, I have my dad come by, and my dad's just like, yeah, that's probably not going to be done till, like, Wednesday. So this morning I got up stupid early, or this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. I got up stupid early. Looked at the pool. Like, I couldn't sleep, and then my mother's like, alright, let's do some laundry. Woke up. Okay, let's go take a look at the pool. I'm up. I want to see if I actually have to get up. Go over and look at the pool. It's like 4 more inches down from where it was. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to do anything today, apart from, like, trying to dredge up pond scum from the absolute bottom of the pool. Well, let's be honest here, that is not very feasible in any circumstance, without a lot of time or specialized hardware. Which I had neither. I had one of those standard pool arms and nothing else. And since they're selling the house, they have no real reason to pick up like specialized hardware of any variety. Hey, there's a treasure chest in there. Unfortunately, the thing we're truly looking for, we're not going to be able to get. Oh, well, that works. That works out great for me. Actually, that works out triply great for me. There's some health. There's Heart of Belial. And you hurt, but that's okay. I've got healing now. Mild amounts, but healing enough. Okay, but, yeah, so I didn't end up having to do work this morning, but it definitely was getting there, and I was just like, I really hope I don't have to, because I physically am not ready for lifting more heavy things. And, like, my neighbor probably was thinking, it's like, oh, it's not so bad. Oh, it's bad. So my family went on, like, a 12-mile walk at the same time. Oh, yeah, and this isn't even, like, the end of Saturday. But my family went on like a 12-mile walk, and they're like, yeah, we have no pity for you. You know, you just sat around all day. And I'm like, just because I didn't go on the walk, just what didn't mean doesn't mean that I wasn't, you know, out doing something even more physically demanding. And every time I'd remind them of this, they'd be like, "Oh, right," and they're just like super guilty face. And then they'd forget and make another comment, and it's just like, "You people are goldfish. What is this?" But luckily, the graduation party, the aforementioned graduation party, the catering was done by a one of those bars that has like really good bar food. So it was steak tips and prime rib and stuff like that. So it was just like, all right, I am down to clown with all of this. And since I, you know, had all of this physical labor, it's just like, let's just eat like 20 steak tips. So by the time Catter Day rolled around, I was like very fat, very sassy, and sleepy from too much steak. Maybe it's genetic bad memory. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Ow. What the hell kind of shop is that? Alright, fine. I don't really want the pliers. I'm sure there's like a numerical advantage for the pliers, but it's not super noticeable, so I always ignore it. So let's just get ourselves a homesick shard and call it a day. But yeah, no, I don't know. It just, it was hard, and like the day before I was doing... Shoot, what was I doing? I actually don't remember all of the shit I was doing, but you know, top all this off, I'm trying to do that like new thing with the Steam deals videos to see if like kind of like as a placeholder. I don't think I've talked about this too much. I guess I kind of have. Somebody asked me about it, and I totally forgot to respond because I haven't had the time to sit down. But so I've been trying to do the like Steam review thing, which in and of itself is actually really hard. Like try and do very short reviews of games in the span of like 30 minutes. Review 30 games, go. Actually, it's more than that. It's 50, give or take. There's a lot of games to get through, and so I'm like trying to cut corners at this point and like figure out what games to talk about. And at this point, I'm just giving up talking about everything. It's like, if I haven't talked about it, it's not a deal. But, so that's been kind of like an interesting new thing to try and learn, because like, effectively at this point, I'm getting into marketing skills. And like, YouTube, like this right now, I can talk off the cuff as long as I want. In fact, most games I can talk as long as I want. Long form is effectively the flavor, not the flavor of the day for me. Long form is the technique that I work with. So trying to be short form is hard. Nightbird, have a good one. So trying to switch over to stuff like, you know, really short form, very, very succinct. Succinct is hard if you've never done succinct. Okay, this is gonna hurt a little. Luckily, we are Thorax. Thorax does kind of make this whole section pretty easy. But yeah, no, I don't know, just slap everything together this weekend. Combine that with just, like, general being wicked tired from everything. And it's just like, alright, oh, butts. Well, this is messy. Let's see what we get. More eyeballs. Yeah, this works. But I don't know. Just slap it all together and you get one very tired Wandabot. So it's just like... Wandabot. There we go. The Bostonian is showing. Slap it all together and you get one tired Wanderbot. And then it's like, oh yeah, you gotta get a commission done. Win! So like the reality of the situation is like, that's usually where I probably should start sacrificing recording time. But I find if I don't like actually record and have like a good night recording, I like can't do anything else because I'm frazzled. I don't know. But it's almost done. And that's super exciting. Oh, you are stomping the crap out of my face. Hey Raw, how's it going? And hey XVH. Okay, don't pay too much attention to chat. You do have to leave this level alive. Perfect. There's a lot of money dropping down. And I don't have much of a use for, well, use for it if I'm dead. Okay. Yeah, this might actually be a run that wins it, or at least gets fairly far. I assume I picked up the money there. Kind of hard to tell. It's all hidden away and not super easy to see. Let's see. Yeah, quiet night tonight, though. They happen. They happen probably when I go off schedule. I think part of the problem is, after coming back from vacation, I've been a lot more, like, lax about scheduling and videos and stuff. Yeah, that's the other thing. I have not had time to, like, record any of my basic roguelikes, and I think it truly actually will have to come with, at, like, some kind of rescheduling. I'm actually seriously considering, switching over to, like, some level of, like, daytime streaming as well. You know, maybe, like, 2-3 hours a night, 2-3 hours midday. And doing kind of like midway for both. It's tempting. Because unfortunately I can't stream like continuously unless it's like super late at night. Or if I got up at like 8 AM and did everything kind of not in reverse, but still, well, that was a lot of money. I got up at like 8. Oh god, this is a decision I do not fancy making. I'm gonna have to do it. Let's see if I can make a little bit more money here. I'd like to get the clumps of iron, but I can deal with it. Our damage output isn't terrible. And we've got slightly more important things, like actually getting a loot here. Along the way. Okay, I think I can get the last one. But yeah, I don't know. That's a consideration. Might end up taking over. Someday I might just actually try streaming from like 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That would be even more hours in the day if I wanted to. And then that would leave like the entire evening to do artwork and stuff, like art streams. Then I wouldn't have to worry about it. The only problem is like and this is part of the reason why I do nighttime streams, is like Saturday by nature is like a nighttime event, because that's when people are around. And like that's the easiest way to collaborate, so it's just like going diurnal again. A, I don't feel particularly healthy when I'm diurnal. But you know, I mean, B, it would require like a vast restructuring of things. And honestly, also during weekends, I just simply wouldn't have the same time block free. But I guess most other people wouldn't. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll do it next week when E3 isn't going on. Probably. I'm also kind of looking forward to the Steam sale being over. I like Steam sales, but I have so many games at this point that I have like no real use for it. And it's kind of one of those, is like, I guess the main use for it is I'm just jumping topics like crazy because I think they've been just stuck in my head and I'm just letting them loose. And I'll see what sticks. But like, I have so many games that it's just kind of like, well, I mean, I could buy more, but I'm not going to play them. And, like, YouTube-wise, it's generally more efficient for me to actually cover new games. I say generally. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But it's generally more effective for me to cover, like, newer games, growth-wise, than, you know, covering old games and stuff like that. So it's kind of one of those where it's like, I would love to go back and, like, play every single game ever. But, like, chances are, apart from, like, you know, people that already know of me, most people aren't going to be... This is going to hurt a little. Well, there goes the box. That would have been useful. Yeah, I can kind of talk about this for a length of time. Okay, let's actually sit back in our chair, even though it's warm. Oh, man. If you've got a recording studio, make sure you've got the right chair for the job. AKA cool if it's going to be warm, and warm if it's going to be cool. And still very comfortable. Okay, but like, generally it's best to cover as many new games as possible within kind of genre on YouTube, because if you're covering, like, older games, you're still going to get, like, some amount of viewership here and there. It's just kind of the way things go. You know, people randomly find your videos through luck, through YouTube suggestions, yada yada yada. And from what it sounds like, they might actually be redoing it so it's a little bit easier. But, like, if you're a channel that primarily covers, like, really old games, you need a lot of quality and you need a lot of luck for eyes to, like, get on you effectively like that. Because otherwise you're effectively competing with... Oh, shoot. Well, there goes the level. I'm out of jumps. You're effectively competing with, you know, Chugga Conroy, you're competing with Game Grumps, you're competing with all these, like, effectively titans of Let's Play that have already covered all of these, like, older games. And so, like, if me, right now... I mean, me right now even trying to compete with people as far as, like, Witcher 3 goes... it doesn't work. I'd love to, but, like, that's actually one of my least viewed series, on my channel, and it's probably going to end up getting the axe, just in terms of, like, people aren't interested. The only reason why it hasn't is because I've got a fairly large amount of time, but come next week, that series is probably going to end up going. I mean, it's already hard enough to film the episodes, so it might be one of those that it ends up getting, like, the binge record session going. Just like a couple other things here and there. Like, Batman, for example. A lot of people aren't super interested in Batman, so, like, slower nights, nights with, like, not a whole lot of people, or, you know, nights where I've got a decent enough backlog so I don't have to worry about it. It's like, alright, you know, these are great nights for playing games like that, but as far as, like, keeping a consistent YouTube channel, in favor of, like, channel growth, stuff like, Witcher is hard to work with, because, for me, I need to be pulling, you know, 200 to 400 views a video, if that makes sense. Find games that aren't completed. Yeah, that's a good point. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit on the picky side, but there are games like that. I've got a series on, oh, what's it called? On Space Station Silicon Valley. That actually doesn't have any Let's Plays on it, so I've been meaning to actually finish editing that one and putting it up. Unfortunately, it takes 8 hours per video to render because it's got such a weird setup. And unfortunately, I had to use an emulator because my Nintendo 64 doesn't work anymore. And that game is, like, too rare to be feasible, purchase-wise. But that one's still harder because, like, just because there's... Actually, Little King Story might be a little bit more possible because that's on the Wii, right? Yeah. Because that actually is possible to record, comparatively. But, like, the problem with that is, like, even if it's, like, a rare, lesser-known game, chances are you're not going to get a whole lot of eyes on it still. It's kind of like, what's a good example of games that I've covered recently? I mean, Steriden, for example. I covered Steriden, but it's such kind of a niche game, comparatively, that, like, even though I'm, like, one of the first and or only people to have covered it at this point, unless somebody else has, like, moved in and covered it, and I could be wrong, it's one of those where it's, like, there's only a certain number of eyeballs. I guess here's an easy point to make. Cavern Kings, there's a very limited number of people that will ever look at Cavern Kings. Luckily, it's a little bit larger and it's entirely dependent on people taking a look around. Oh, hey TI, how's it going? But, you know, there's still a very, very finite number of people that will ever look at this game. And for the most part, people are going to see the people on the top list. That said, the older the game, the more obscure it gets, and the less likely people are to be looking. There are still people that will look, but it's lower, and so it doesn't necessarily mean that, like, playing older games is not worthwhile. In fact, it's probably very worthwhile covering quite a lot of older games, a lot of newer games, yada yada yada. Wow, we're getting a lot of boxing glove shots. It's because I got 2 of them. That's useful. Oh, see you, Gizmo. Have fun, class. Actually surprised people still have class, but I guess summer school is totally a thing. Summer classes, maybe... No, I don't know. Whatever. Haven't been in school in ages, and I really don't know. I'm going to save my money. I'm going to see if I can get some more books of secrets here. It'd be useful. Yeah, smaller market size, but market penetration. Absolutely correct. That is the right wording to put it. Oh, fuck. You know what I just realized? We don't have a key. Oh, we do have a key. Wait, where? Oh, the key's in the shop! No! Oh, I'm so dumb. I was like, money. And then we didn't get it. Ah, that's nuts. If I was anybody else, I could have actually made the run for the key. Unfortunately, I was Thorax. Okay, so let's go back. And go back. Can I go back? There we go. Arena. Let's do the same thing, not the nail gun, though. Okay, that's not a bug on my arm. That sucked. I was like, we're good. No, we're not good. And that was the extent of it. Damn. Oh, hey, Ghost. I don't think I saw you there. Alright, so let's just do a little bit of arena. People want me to do the arena more often anyway. Though, ideally, I'd like to not have the hour-long run of the arena mode. Because that shit is dumb to no end. Okay, let's just bust this up. It gets me a lot of experience, and you know what? Health shouldn't be as much of a problem anymore. Especially with Thorax. We'll see. Okay. That sucked. Yeah, money greater than life. Or, money is not less greater than life. There we go. Lurk, lurk. Okay, so market penetration, market, whatever, yeah. And so, just kind of the reason why I bring up this point is there are certain times when there is no market, for YouTube. It's rare, but there are a couple of times when, like, YouTube growth is, like, extremely stale and bad and whatever. There's also times when, like, YouTube money is terrible. So right now, YouTube money is actually fairly decent because there's stuff to advertise, but, YouTube growth is garbage. And, like, it's good for some people, but for the most part, it's not that great, because there's nothing new coming out. The only new game to have come out directly this month, I believe, is Ark. There are a couple of things that got patches, there are a couple of, like, new games here and there, but for the most part, things that have been new have been, you know, wildly outside of genre, not outside of genre, wildly, like, worthless, comparatively, like, you know, kind of flash ports and just bad games overall. There have been a couple. I think there's like a semi-popular Russian horror game to have come out that Keith covered, but not necessarily anything else apart from that. Elder Scrolls came out last week. What, like the ESO MMO? didn't... I mean, hasn't that been out for, like, ages, though? Did it, like, just come out on console? That's probably where it came out. And, like, that's a completely different thing, because, like, nobody's looking for ESO anymore. Even if, like, the game did just come out on a... Yeah, so Elder Scrolls Online just came out on console. I thought so. I heard a bunch of people talking about it, and I was just like, alright. I thought this was already out, because, like, I had friends play it, like, ages ago. But, it's one of those where, re-releases almost never garner the same attention. Jesus Christ, these guys are gonna murder me just because of how zippy they are. I really don't have much of an option on this one. From, like, apart from just getting smacked around. Because they are not dying. There we go. Thank you. And I'm still healthless. That's a bit butts. Okay, come on, make the jump. You fat ass. We have, like, next to no sideways mobility here, and it makes things a little bit harder than I'd like it to be. Sometimes, like, everything is dangerous to Thorax. Let's just destroy everything. Okay, that actually worked out fabulously well. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it works. Okay, Heroes of the Storm is a major release. The problem is, again, anything... Okay, so here's the thing about releases in terms of, like, gaming, marketing, whatever. The early bird gets the worm, effectively. And I know that's, like, kind of a stupid cliche sentence to use, but it... Fuck. Yeah, we're gonna die here. Maybe? Unless I'm... Nope. We don't get much of a choice on that one. Okay, we can do another one. That was rough, though. Let's switch away from Thorax. He's just too slow for the arena now. Let's try Mishka. Mishka could be kind of neat. Okay, if I tried Rogue Legacy... I got a full series on Rogue Legacy, actually. Co-commentated and everything. If I was to do it, I'd do New Game Plus. It did okay. I don't know. Could continue with it. My brother might be around, or I could do it solo. I have no idea. Either way, but so the worst times for a YouTuber to grow is specifically Christmas and around the 4th of July. Why? Nobody wants to compete with the... Well, I guess it's not the 4th of July. I guess whenever the Steam Summer Sale is. And I guess kind of Black Friday. There are certain times of the year where, like, games just aren't coming out. And there's, like, the occasional good game here and there, but for the most part, there just aren't a whole lot. So, unfortunately, like this month right now, for the next, like, week and a half, nobody wants to release any games. I guess, actually, it's just a week left at this point, which is kind of encouraging. But nobody wants to release anything new because it's terrible for business. You're not going to get a whole lot of new eyes on your game because it coincides with an incredibly large release. So instead, you end up getting okay, yeah, this is why I wanted Mishka. The fast shop might actually save our butts here. Might not, though. Kind of hard to tell on that one. Let's try and stay mildly injured here, just because. Hello, money. We're gonna need you. We're gonna... Oh, thank you. Thank you, grasses. Thank you, grasses. Okay. But, so nobody wants to release a new game, so, as a result, me, who kind of thrives off of new indie games, especially, you know, I have nothing new to cover. In fact, as far as roguelikes go, the last one to come out was Card Dungeon, which I should probably cover, but, like, definitely did not get the level of, like, interest that I kind of was expecting. Well, I kind of was expecting it wasn't gonna get a whole lot. Okay, gonna go watch it. Thanks. Yay! Yeah, it was a fun series. In fact, I really enjoyed it because it was co-commentated. I don't do that very often. But yeah, there are, like, no new roguelikes, not a whole lot of new indie games, and, like, the last one that I probably should have covered, I kind of hated. I'm specifically thinking of Dex. It got, like, 10,000 views on that review, and I totally should have continued with it. But, like, the combat, once you hit that dock section, which is so garbage, is like, I don't want to come back to this. Oh, man. But, nice thing is, once the Steam Summer Sale passes, new games start coming out again. I've already got Batman, Arkham Knight ready, pre-ordered, and it looks like people on the channel, at least, seem to like me playing it a fair amount. Less so on the Twitch side of things, but that seems to be, like, kind of a consistent problem. The Twitch is a little bit more on the, like, very specific type and genre of game, and you start pressing away from that, and you're going to get a little bit of disinterest here and there. Like tonight, started with Terraria. Did not go so great for me. I mean, it went okay. We had, like, what, 27, 28 people peak? Which, compared to, like, what I was pre-vacation, not the greatest. But then again, even pre-vacation was rough, because, again, aforementioned, like, finals week and stuff like that. Hello, acid's gonna be handy. And, like, I know this all probably sounds like, kind of like, Wanderbot is just unhappy with the state of things, but it's mostly just kind of the reality of business that I'm just realizing now, because last year, I don't know if it's possible to, like, go back and ever check these things, but, like, a year ago, I think I had 300 subs. I'm 10 times larger than I was 1 year ago, probably today, give or take. Oh, good night, FH, didn't even notice you were leaving. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit focused on this game. But so, like, you don't notice these things when you're even, like, in the hundreds. You notice them when you're in the thousands. Because, like, I didn't have any market weight a year ago. I barely had any videos on, like, the front page of anything. And I think, I'm trying to think of, like, the first games I, like, front paged with. And, like, Tower of Guns is a good example. I think I've front paged with that one. Barely. And then I've been since beaten out. And that was bad tagging and, you know, lack of market interest, yada yada yada. Though, a lot of people seem to be interested in watching it when I do play it now. So I should probably bring that series back a little bit more in full. Maybe I can do Tower of Gun races. That'd be kind of neat. Oh, I'm so glad I have, like, a stun strike through type thing. Oh, harp would actually be handy. Hello. You're useful. Okay, but, but so, since I had no market weight last year, and that's part of the reason why this series is, like, such a Wanderbot talks about, like, managing a channel, starting a channel, and stuff like that, is because, like, I'm finally getting to the point where, like, I can kind of realize these things. So, as a result of, you know, slow months, whatever, it's actually, like, problematic for me, whereas, like, last year I wouldn't have noticed. Everything was fairly consistent because there was just next to no curves, up and down. And, like, now that I understand it, it's kind of like, oh, these are things that I'm actually going to have to worry about along the way. Though again, the larger you get, the less you have to worry about these things. Okay. Like, I actually probably would have played Ark, but I heard, like, really bad things about it from a lot of my friends in terms of, like, bugginess and just lack of playability. This is messy and I don't have a whole lot of damage and it's starting to hurt real bad. Okay, oh, there we go. Should probably take out the eyeballs. Jeez, it's just dumping explosives on me left and right, which I do not appreciate. Come on. Well, that's handy enough. What even hit me there? I don't even know. Okay. Well, let's get up here. An extra jump would be super nice, and I'm not seeing any. Oh, well. Oh, there goes that money, and there goes that health. Okay. Rapid fire engage. Apparently. Okay. Leave me alone. I'm the Black Bear of Doom. I go rah-rah and you die, right? Yes, please. At least we've lived twice as long as the previous one. Oh, look at all this health that I'm going to very quickly lose. And we're dead. Yeah. So the reality of the situation is, like, everything will be better in a couple of weeks. But the current time, it's just like, oh boy. Well, deal with it as you go. And, it's interesting enough. Okay, with that, I think that's it for Cavern Kings. Yeah, Cavern Kings is rough. If you notice our items here, we had knives. Knives are good mid-game, late-game items. Early game, they're garbage. The Phoenix Feather is kind of useful, but it really doesn't have a whole lot of DPS ever. Let's see. The Homesick Shard ain't bad, but it's not enough coverage. The Acid is good. Knife, not great. Book of Secrets is really good. Unfortunately, the effects of it didn't pop in until a little bit late. More Toxic Flask, yada yada yada. We just did not have the early game power to make it to the end. And next to no healing, which is kind of problematic. Okay. Well, with that, I will see you guys in the next episode of Cavern Kings. And as always, thanks for watching. I think I already said these things. That's okay, too.